Hey everyone, Karen Byron here from Exit Realty in Poston, Montana with what I'm calling Title Talk. I'm bringing to you an expert in the field of titles because, as I say, I'm not the expert in a lot of things and I can sniff them out. So I'm bringing to you DeeDee Blaney. DeeDee is the Northwest Montana Vice President of Escrow Operations for First American Title Company. So we're going to have a little chat here, kind of like coffee talk. I've got my coffee in my Montana Coffee Traders mug. And I have some, there she goes. I've got some questions. So let's get to it, okay? DeeDee, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great today. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. How are the puppies?
They're doing well. The puppy's growing, just like triple the size now. So quite fun.
I can't wait to come play with the puppies.
Yes,
all right, so a lot has changed since the beginning of March. Anywhere from lending to inspections to appraisals. And I think that you can provide insight to people who are looking to buy, to people all over the country, because this is going to be up on LinkedIn and Facebook, on how things have changed within First American Title Company in our area of operations. So first, tell me, what do you oversee? What offices?
Flathead County, Lake County, and Sanders County.
So that's huge. So when we talk these questions, this basically covers all of those.
It covers all of those as well as our sister offices. We all have the same procedures right now to comply with COVID-19 and to protect our crew, our teams, and our communities and clients.
Awesome. Who are your sister offices?
We've got First American Title Company of Montana, and then First American Title in Idaho, and we've got a couple of offices in Wyoming. So our company is family owned, and we've got a footprint for those 3 states.
Awesome. So you're pretty much all over.
We are. Yeah, we're the largest privately held title company in the Northwest.
That's awesome. And that, I mean, you guys always have done great for me and my clients. So I love you guys. So let's start this off with how has the closing process changed in your locations, the physical closing process, before we get into other details? You know, people are used to coming in, bringing mother-in-laws, bringing kids, picture snapshots. How has this changed?
There's been a dramatic change. So right now, our doors are locked like many other companies in our area and the country. So what we're doing right now is we've gone to a curbside closing. And we will call the clients, chat with them. We ask them a few questions to make sure that they haven't traveled outside of Montana, haven't traveled internationally, not have any, cold or flu symptoms, spent any time with someone that's has a confirmed case. And if the questions are answered correctly and we're comfortable, then what we do is we have them just pull up to the outside of our building. We've got a nice little sign.
I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. And then we'll take the documents out to them. We ask them, to bring your own pins. If they don't, we do have new pins that are sanitized that we give them, ask them to keep the documents. We're trying to be proactive with regards to the closing, since we're not, able to have a lot of, or I shouldn't say not a lot of, we have to have a lot of distance in between us. Right. So we want clients to be comfortable and be able to ask their questions. So we're emailing documents to them in advance securely, so they can take a peek through their loan documents, and we can either answer them ahead of time or know what their questions are going to be when they get here.
What is to protect your staff as well as the clients, do they wear protective gear when they go out to the cars? What does that look like? Like, give us a little picture.
You bet. So we've got masks. So if we are going out to meet with a client, we do wear a mask, and we have gloves as well. We sanitize. We've got a board that we can take out to them if they need something, large to spread the documents out on in the car. That gets sanitized each time it walks out the door.
And they're within, your staff is within talking distance, so that if they have any questions,
correct.
They're right there. The notary is there to witness.
Yes. Yeah. So our notary obligations haven't changed. Okay. We're responsible to view that signing. We have to confirm the identity, make sure we actually see them sign the document. So, if weather was really bad, maybe we would need to do that from inside our lobby and looking out our front door into their car. So we've got, some options with regards to inclement weather.
And now, are you looking into right now it's beautiful out, it's 40 degrees, the sun's shining. The summer's coming, the heat, rain. Are you looking into maybe getting something to put outside? Maybe you have that back parking lot, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, correct. Yeah, we would love, and I've been looking into getting a canopy. So I guess a shout out to anybody in the Polson area that has a canopy that would work and you're not using it. We would love to borrow it.
Ooh, maybe we could talk to the Polson Chamber. They have those canopies.
Yeah.
I'll make some calls. So for the safety of your staff, you have the masks, the gloves, no one's coming in. So that's fabulous that you're protecting not just the community, but your staff too, because you need to remain operational. I've heard a lot of talk in the real estate community and the banking community about remote closings, e-signings, and e-notaries. How do you see that working, not working? Are you doing it? Give me your insight, please.
Yeah, we are using remote online notary. So there are a few different options. We've got a platform, DocuSign, which is simply just e-signing the documents, has nothing to do with a notary. And that's a platform we've been using for a few years. Great for cash buyers. Maybe we get the seller documents back and they've missed signing, a 1099 or their disbursement instructions. So we're really utilizing our avenues of technology. When we're looking at remote online notary, our company has been working on that for well over, probably 6 weeks or so. So fortunately, it just didn't land in our lap when we had to shut our doors. We're using a third party right now called Notarize, and they're providing the remote online notary for clients. Our company is in the process of getting some of our team members trained and ready to perform remote online notary for our clients. And the property has to meet certain requirements. We're fortunate to have a number of different underwriters that we work with. So for example, First American hangs on our front door, but we're an agent for First American. We're also an agent for Old Republic. We're an agent for Westcor. And so that really gives us kind of a leg up to help our clients. And if First American, the underwriter First American hasn't approved a commercial property, maybe Westcor has, or vice versa. Okay. So at this point in time, we have a lot of options to make what we call RON, remote online notary work.
Okay, so and I'm looking down at my notes because interviewing DeeDee, there's so many different things I have to ask her. So one of the other questions is when it comes to the e-notary, are there any fees for clients? How does that work? What's the infrastructure?
So the fees for remote online notary range anywhere from $35 to $99. It just depends on the transaction, how many documents, how many people. If we've got two sellers, one's in California, one's in New York, then we've got to account for both of those because those are two different notaries, right? Depending upon the situation.
Everything is situational. So how does this work? Because you work very closely with the lenders. Do the lenders have to be a part of that process, or can there be some wet signatures and some remote signatures?
There are a couple of lenders out there that have approved hybrid closings. So what is a hybrid closing? Typically, a lender needs what in our industry we call a wet signature. It needs to be an original signature on a document. Of the few lenders that have shared that they're doing hybrid closings, that means that their clients can sign the majority of the documents e-sign. Okay. However, the promissory note and the security instrument, need to have a wet signature. Okay. So if you look at a loan package that could have anywhere from 50 to 125 documents, all but 2 can be signed with an e-signature.
That's pretty cool now. I get it. So is there a lot of technology involved for the people to use this? Because I foresee, if my parents right now were to need to do an e-sign, like that would never happen.
Yes. My grandfather, same thing, 97, not going to happen. So if it's an e-sign, then, and we're using the DocuSign platform, you can do that on your phone. But if we're
Okay.
talking about a remote online notary, you need to have a computer that has a microphone and a camera, and you also have to have high-speed internet. The
So it
reason
doesn't crash.
Exactly. Yep. You've got to have a seamless closing with that remote online notary. You can't, if the internet goes down, they would have to start over again. And you also need to be able to see the notary on your screen, see the document that you're signing so you know what you're signing, and then the notary, of course, needs to see you. So a tablet, phone, just not big enough to make it work.
No. Wow, technology is really, really amazing how we adapt and overcome, huh? So
Yes,
I know you and I have known each other for quite a long time, actually since I moved here, which is almost a year and a half now.
already.
Okay. Yeah, time flies.
It does.
What do you see? I mean, there's so many things to consider that you don't think about. But I know you were in this industry during the horrific events of 9/11, during the last recession, 2008, 2009. What are some, I want to say, disruptors or interrupters that you think everyone needs to think about, the real estate agent, the lenders, the clients, to make this a smoother process?
Being proactive is huge, and I'll touch on that in a moment. But when we talk about 9/11, and you come into work and everything is, you're watching the news and wrapping your mind around what happened with our country, and then at one point in time you've got to stop and think, okay, what do we do here under our roof? Wow, we sent payoffs out via overnight. We've got loan documents that went out overnight that aren't going to get there. We need to make sure our payoffs get to the proper location. And so that just makes me think, in this situation, are we going to be looking at possible delays with overnight? Maybe overnight now becomes 2 days.
Right.
A lot of people are probably going to be using, the wire platform versus overnight. So are all the banks set up for that? Could we see something that used to be more or less instantaneous? You set up a wire, few hours go by, and usually it's reached its destination. So I think we just need to have a cushion in there, be it overnight, be it wires, what have you, and allow an extra day.
Yeah, people don't think about that. I mean, the birds are in the air, but priority is being given to other things, so that overnight is not really the next day. Now, you touched on a subject that I did want to talk about. As a real estate agent, I always preach, wire transfer should only be between the person and the title company. There's so much fraud going around, but you have an amazing application that we can use. Why don't you talk about that? Because I signed up for it.
Oh, good. Yes, EM transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I was just looking at our internal website for the company, and we're up to 85 transactions that have used EM transfer. Great program. The owner and founder, a gentleman named Bob Beams, he's from Idaho. He's also a realtor. And this platform it's secure, so there's no third party. What happens is the buyer's agent signs up, and you send the invitation to the buyer. Once all of that process you've gone through that, which is pretty quick and easy, the buyer then can transfer their earnest money from their checking account into our holding account. And it goes from their account to ours. There's no middleman, no wire fees, no, saves us from having to worry about wire fraud, email hacking, etc.
And from the realtor's perspective, if I have, an escrow, I don't have to get a check, deliver it to you somehow. It makes the physical piece so much easier and safer in today's world. There's less touching, less contact, and the security of that is no middleman. That's a fabulous application. I think that's great. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about that I didn't go over? I know I had one question. Because you know me, I always have questions.
Good.
How is employment verification going these days with every day, you may have a job one day, You may be, furloughed or laid off the next. So how does that work if you're in the middle of this process?
I mean, that's not something that we see a lot of. That's
Okay.
more of a lender role.
Okay.
But what does happen, there are some lenders out there that will do a verification of employment at the very end. So it's kind of the second verification, if you will,
Okay.
to make sure that the person is still employed before they'll send us the money to record and disperse.
Okay.
We haven't seen any fallout for that yet, but we're pretty new into this environment now.
Yeah, and I think we got away. I was on a call with Congressman Gianforte yesterday, and Montana really, we lucked out. We don't have the huge numbers, but unfortunately we're feeling the economic impact of the rest of the country. Yeah, but you never know from one day to the next. Is somebody going to be furloughed, laid off? You hear new ones daily.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you wanted to touch on that you wanted people to know about?
Absolutely. I'd love to talk about a couple of the closing options.
Let's do it.
So if we're not able to sign curbside, so let's say I had a seller that was coming up from Mexico, and so we wouldn't be able to accommodate curbside. Remote online delivery worked for that. We've had other situations, the clients are in a different state, and there is a mobile notary service called Certified Signer. All of their notaries are vetted by our underwriters, and so we're able to utilize that service. They'll contact the client, meet with them. Of course, they have their own procedures and protocols now as well. But at least that way they can get signatures, they can get a notary, and they can get it back to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we've got a number of options to be able to move forward to get these transactions closed. Just today we had first-time home buyers that signed curbside, and like you said, we used to be able to invite them into the office and it was exciting, but even though you're 6 feet apart, you're still able to share in that excitement with them. Got a picture, with our big jolly green giant key, and just to see the smiles on their faces was very fulfilling. Yep,
that's awesome. So I would like to invite anyone that has questions. DeeDee, how can they reach First American Title if they have any questions? I know that, not just realtors have questions, but potential clients have questions. So how can they reach out to you?
Sure. In Lake County, 406-883-5258. Of course, you can always email me, DeeDee Blaney. So D as in David, B as in boy, LANEY @gofirstam.com. And if you call Lake County and you need to talk to someone in Flathead County, we can transfer you up there. Easy enough. Flathead or Sanders County as well. That so brings up another point. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All these things popping into my head.
And we can do that again another time as we know things.
Right, yeah. Want to point out that our website is www.gofirstam.com, and that GO is really important, go, because we are a family-owned company. We're just an agent for our underwriter. So if you go in and you Google First AM and it doesn't look like us here in Montana, that's why.
That's awesome. And what I'll do is when I post this onto the social medias and LinkedIn, I'll have all your contact on there too, so that they can just click on the links.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, DeeDee. I appreciate you coming on board. And, this is such a fluid situation, and it could change our lives. And even something we talked about today, in a month, we may have to change that as well. Mm-hmm. So I'll have you back on if you're okay with that.
That would be great. Yes.
I love having the experts here to educate me and all my friends and my clients. Have an amazing day. Have a great weekend, and we'll chat soon. Thanks, DeeDee.
Take care. Thanks.